Hi, my name is Claire Hynes, and joining us on Words and Music this afternoon is the one and only Chuck D, Public Enemy. And so without any further ado, if we could get started on some questions here. I'm wondering, did you really say that 1987 was hip-hop's golden age?
No, I said people consider 1987 the classical period in rap. When you were able to buy a record, maybe get your first glimpses at a video, and also check out an arena show. And so I just meant it was a classical period, meaning that, you witness more dimensions of an artist than you do nowadays. People recognized rap in larger forms. Going to an arena and seeing 15,000 people wasn't uncommon. It was like the third or fourth year of arena tours. Of course, beginning with the Fresh Fest in '84, Fresh Fest 2 in '85, Raising Hell in '86 and '87 when I first started out on the Def Jam tour with LL Cool J, Houdini, Dougie Fresh, Eric B. Rakim, Stetsasonic, and yours truly.
So what has happened to hip-hop pretty much in the nearly 10 years that have passed since then?
Less of an emphasis in the other dimensions of an artist, a stigma about rap of it being negative and not being able to get into the buildings, and just a tremendous drop-off in artist development and an increase in signing artists without developing them.
And on the new album, the track I Stand Accused is getting a lot of media attention now. Why do you think that is?
Well, Dr. Khalid Muhammad once made a statement like, if you throw a rock at a pack of dogs, the one that hollers is the one that's hit. So a lot of critics out there are probably figuring out that this is quite personal to them. It's nothing personal. It's just looking at the art of criticism as something trivial. Anyone can do it. And anybody can criticize anything. And just talking about, if they can criticize, then you could criticize critics. Why not make a big game of it all, I feel that in hip-hop journalism, hip-hop journalists need to be hip-hop journalists and understand that hip-hop is accumulation of the total black reflection in music and culture, which means that the duties to make hip-hop today, you could take from jazz, you can take from blues, gospel, and rock and roll, as well as funk or a reggae-style vibe, or a New York boom band flip squad style beat, and you have to make it hip hop. The whole key in hip hop is in experimentation and doing something different to make it stretch out and not be exploitable and just typical. Because once it's exploitable and the record companies can actually put quotation marks around hip hop, then you have artists that come up thinking that they have to remain within a box.
The song Looking for the Perfect Beat by Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, which was released in the early 80s, was one of the first rap songs. If this song came out today, do you think it would get signed, and how do you think it would get reviewed?
First of all, it wouldn't get signed because it's totally different. And then how would it get reviewed? I don't know. Some people might look into it, and criticism is based on the individual. And I think it boils down to asking people, or everybody spread their resume on the table. Who are you? Where did you come from? You're 21. What do you know about music experience? All right, you can talk about something you like, but everybody likes something. What gives you credence to talk about it? Does a guy give you a job? Does the white man with the big office job, does he give you the job to actually say that you're the expert of a music and you give your opinion and you base your existence on the check that he gives you? I mean, tell us something about yourself. Are you helping hip-hop? Are you building it? Or are you just leeching onto it to get your check and just saying what you don't like?
That was Bedlam 1313 by Public Enemy off the most recent release, Muse Sick-n-Hour Mess Age. And here I am with Chuck D. And on to my next question here. What do you think should be the correct relationship between hip-hop media and hip-hop itself?
The correct relationship with hip-hop media and hip-hop should be to build. There's so many artists coming out, and some artists that are taking a chance. I think critics should, number one, not call themselves critics. black art and expression is attacked from all sides anyway. So if you happen to be an interpreter of the music to an audience that's just reading, then you should build and not destroy. So just instead of talking about something that you don't like, talk about something that you like. You know, so if 80 pieces of product are out there in the market, I mean, you know, and it's 30 pieces that you like, you know, you get your writing job, talk about something that you like and leave what you don't like alone.
Right, right. And what about the relationship between hip-hop and the mainstream media then?
Now, total media, number one, is to look at it as the creativity of black people anyway, which sometimes lead into a mainstream interpretation of something black, which might not always be on the plus side, which is very rarely on the plus side. So we have to understand that's the way it is. But hip-hop media should build it and expand it in as many ways possible before it shrinks up into a box and continue to be exploited by the record companies. The problem is a lot of people are complaining about it, but they just can't put their finger on what's particularly wrong with it.
I see. And you know, surprisingly, I mean, for me, anyway, because I think this album's great, there have been a lot of, you know, not so favorable reviews of the new album, like Muse Sick-n-Hour Mess Age in the States anyway. How do you respond to this?
Well, I look at it as okay, that's a person's particular personal opinion, and I don't take it personally. It's just that I look at it as one growing institution that's white-owned just taking a smack at me. But, you know, my whole thing is you attack my business, I got to attack yours somewhere down the line. But as far as looking into the thrust of the matter, as far as where I'm coming from, I always try to make each album different, right? And I never tried to go the way that people wanted me to go. I'm like, no, it's been a long time since I recognized peer pressure. And when I was 17 and 18, I did my best to ignore it when I was that age.
Okay, and what was new and exciting for you about making Muse Sick-n-Hour Mess Age?
Making faster music, doing more organic, using more organic elements in the studio, putting it together with some exciting young programmers and incorporating their young energies into the arrangement and framework that we have in Public Enemy. Guys such as Gary G. Wiz and Stutterman, you know, Kerwin Slick Young, Larry Panic Walford, working with an outside producer, Easy Mo B, even working at Sonic Sound in Freeport. And you got it, Jerry, you know, at the boards and learning a lot of different engineering techniques and doing things, mixing organically and also with, you know, with the computers of today, and trying to come up with a blend that will carry over live, will carry over as audible, and also will carry over when you see it on, you know, see the video, you also hear a backing that will match it.
I see, and I was just wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit actually about your last release, The Greatest Misses.
That was the whole thing when the record company wanted me to do a greatest hits record. So I did a greatest misses just to be bullheaded. If the whole mode goes left, I'll go right. They go up, I go down. They go down, I go up. I will always do that other thing, you know, because I'm not here to impress anybody. Maybe I'm here to impress upon a movement, and which is a hip hop culture. You know, it's not anything. I'm not anybody's personal beat provider. Even though people might make personal purchases, but they have the choice not to, and I'm the first to say that. So when I made Greatest Misses, it was a collection of things for the soundtracks, and also it was remixes of records that weren't really recognized in the PE camp, and I just thought that was something different. That somebody that was really into Public Enemy could really, you know, sink their hands and teeth into, as far as having something different and not being part of the mainstream, which the company's always trying to push you right down the middle of the pike. So my objective is to stay to the left or to the right of that, and do things that might be immensely popular because I took a stand behind it, or things that might be unpopular.
Actually, I was wondering, how do you respond to criticisms, like certain criticisms that say, you know, the new album is not as good as some of your previous releases, like it takes a nation of millions to hold us back?
I say it's ignorant and limited. Number one, I make each album different. Comparing albums is like comparing children. You don't say what child is the best. Each child is able to give you their own personal characteristics, all right? Maybe one of the child turned out to be president. Maybe the other child turned out to just be, a carpenter. But you still treat them the same. And you put the same amount of effort and creative ingenuity into creating each one of these. So I tell people, no, you're talking about a classical period of rap, so to speak, when rap albums were rare. What we did in 1988 is that we introduced a different tempo and a much-needed pace to the music, as well as a different thought. Back when we made It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. But me, of course, I give props to the people that support us on Yo Bum Rush the show. Maybe a little bit more than It Takes a Nation, because It Takes a Nation was something where the blueprint was set out for us to lead right in that path, because we saw what was needed. And it was not a lot of product out there as far as albums or album concepts. We came off the tail of a lot of people that had albums after a collection of singles, and we was coming on our second album, and there was a blueprint that were laid by artists such as Run DMC and Beastie Boys with License to Ill. Run DMC's were Raising Hell, for us to come out with something that would be conceptual, fast, funky, new in ideology, and so it had all the above going with it. We was a new group, and hip-hop is important that you're a new group and that you have the new flavor, and that's what we provided at that point. Those times are never coming back. It's just like in the future, you make each album different, you try to make it hip-hop, and at the same time, you make adjustments on how you fit into today's climate.
By the time I get to Arizona by Public Enemy on 93.3 CFMU, and I'm back here with Chuck D. Now, it seems like in the past when Public Enemy would do something different, or surprising for that matter, people would swarm to it and love it, and yet now it seems with this album you were met with some resistance. Why?
Well, things I've done before that people expected, of course, people copied and followed, So things that you do that you think that people are going to follow sometimes, or people choose not to follow, those are the chances, and that's the road you take, and you stand by it. I think right now, we're in a point of where hip-hop is thrown in the box. We don't have people that make their decision and stand behind and believe in it. And, because to me, belief is a major factor. You got to make people believe in what you believe, and especially in music, because the art of what's good and what's bad is based on artistic interpretation.
This may be an odd question, but, do the people, that you speak to in prisons blame gangster rap artists for their own problems because, these artists glorified the so-called gangster life?
Some of them do. Of course, they're going to look to blame anything and anybody. But I would look at it like this, because rap is a powerful medium, and older black people don't have a medium source that gets across as much as rap music. Rap music has the power, not only the ability to reflect, but it has the power to dictate and also carry through fantasies into certain levels of reality. Not every, when people talk about, yo, man, you shot so-and-so, it's real, kid. I mean, everything is real. Giving your moms, a hug is real, as well as the shootout in the corner. The thing about it, giving your moms a hug might be more realistic because you don't see a shootout every day, So, and I'm a firm believer, and even talking about the record, So What You Gonna Do Now, which a lot of people think is an anti-gangster rap record. I like to put it straight out on the record like this. It's like, what I'm doing, I'm attacking the trend of gangster rap. It's a trend set up by the record companies and exploited by the record companies. And that's what I'm attacking. I'm a firm believer that every story should be told. But at the same time, what there's lacking is there's a severe lack of balance now. And an artist wants to come out and kick whatever they want to kick. They want to kick a fly beat, a fly flow on a beat or whatever, and they want to kick a certain aspect of reality. But a lot of people don't even want to go into the plus side, as I say, the positive side, because they know that, there's a chance of them failing and the record company cutting them loose. Now, the record company has to really make determinations. A lot of them don't feel like they're accountable to our community. So they'll make a decision where somebody will come along and talk about shooting up a whole neighborhood or whatever in their music, and they might sell 400,000 units, right? Well, somebody on the plus side might talk about, getting with his girl and just driving around town, and might sound, it might sell 200,000 units. So the thing is that the record companies don't make that determination of a difference. They say, well, look, we got to sell records. We're making money. But, right now it's to the point what I attack the accountability of these record execs that's on top, that's usually cutting these artists off after they can't sell anymore. And what you have is a pool of rap frustration from the ages of 24 to 30. And if you you ain't got to ask me. All you got to do is check the amount of people that participated in rap music from the ages of 24 to 32. And like I was talking to somebody yesterday. I mean, people talk about rap being, comparable to heavy metal. But the thing about it, when you look at Led Zeppelin, if you talk to Robert Plant today, Robert Plant has ownership. He has things. He's still, he's here. He's relevant, but at the same time, he has things. Right? And a lot of Gene Simmons, these people not only have an understanding of the histories before metal, the histories of what they've done in metal, but they have things. They have props. Now, if you go on the other side and talk about hip-hop, or the forefathers of hip-hop, you got a nightmare 95% of the time. And so, therefore, is hip-hop in a better state than ever? No. No, not as far as the people are concerned. Maybe as an industry, but with so few of us on the intake from the industry, I think a lot of things are up in the air. So, no, I attack the whole mentality and the exploitation of this quotation gangster rap. There's no such thing as black gangster. A gangster is somebody that can commit a crime, get away with it, and make us pay for it as a people. And those are the true gangsters. There ain't no black gangsters. There's a fantasy and an illusion of a black gangster. So this is fantasy rap a lot of the time.
Now, unlike, most other hip-hop artists, Public Enemy seem to have always made an effort to see and tour the world outside America, and why is that?
There's a lot of things that are unacknowledged about Public Enemy on our travels around the world. And this thing that in the United States, being that, right now the American mind is being turned into mush. You turn on, these shows like Ricky Lake, and your mind is turned to mush watching this bullshit, day after day on the same old bullshit, and therefore the mind doesn't challenge. The American mind doesn't challenge and pick up information like it used to, because it's sort of being blunted, no pun intended. But I'm just saying that, our travels around the world and making people, just in the hip-hop circles or in black music, recognize that there's a world, there's a planet out there. We are, as black people, we are a world majority. We're not, 127th Street and Amsterdam, and that's it, No, we're bigger than that. We're a world's people. And whenever we think small, it hurts us. But I want to tell people that Public Enemy, being that we was able to go to 35 countries, many of them over and over again. So, my whole thing, being on 26 tours in 6 years. And people say, 26 tours, yes. 26 tours, sometimes 3-4 months at a time. Sometimes they were 3-week tours, 2-week tours. A tour is a tour, nevertheless. 26 tours in 6 years, 35 countries, every single continent except for Antarctica. About 1,400 shows, and we try to tell people the world of hip-hop is growing, and it means more than ever, and it's time for us to seize the time as well as seizing the rhyme, So that's where we at. But, these things they get played off by these so-called hip-hop experts like, oh, that don't mean nothing. The block is what counts. People that ain't been nowhere, maybe been to 2 or 3 places, and think they can have a determination on the feeling of black people worldwide. And I think right now, let's say the future of hip hop and rap artists is they got to see the planet. They got to take it to the world.
Okay, now when hip hop first exploded, pretty much onto the music scene as as a force to be reckoned with, I guess people said it was a phase, and now they say it is still growing. Why do you think that is?
I think it goes from the fact of people always thinking that hip-hop is an audience of 12 to 19-year-old kids or adolescents. And I think right now, in 1994, there's people 30, 31, 32, 33, up to 36, 37 to 40 that recognize hip-hop.
Now, getting back to so what you're going to do now off Muse Sick-n-Hour Mess Age, you said it was difficult to write from your heart. Now, why is that?
So what you're going to do now is a careful song I felt I had to write. From my heart, it was because I knew that people were going to take it and just play with it the wrong way. You know, some people want to position me as Chuck D comes out against he's an anti-gangster rap. You know, I've seen this thing today, and it's not that, you know. And I would never take anything personal against my brothers and sisters. We are all brothers and sisters. I don't name names, and I provide an option to those because I would like to see my brothers and sisters in the music business not be exploited for the sake of it. I think that's the bottom line. Not to be in it for 2 years, go through a whole hunk of money, and then be frustrated sitting on the outside talking about, oh, motherfucker jerked me. You know, I ain't got promoted. You know, stuff that they don't even never even knew about. Don't even know how to define promotion, but still complain about why they on the outside. And I see it clear as day. It's just like my man, you know, he said he played sports, and when he saw a play pulling out in front of him, you know, was able to pick it and see it. It's the same way I see a lot of exploitation in the hip-hop business, getting ready to kick a lot of people out the door, whether they're working in the business part of it or whether they're just doing the art. One time, you know, I'm at the panels at the seminar. A lot of time, you know, I got off my chest what I really felt fucked up about. And that was about the just the overused, and it shouldn't be used at all, but using the term nigga, just like it's you know, a word of love. That's bullshit. You know, first of all, I'm looking at the term nigga. First of all, it has no positive term whatsoever. You can't turn punk or dickhead around, so there's no way you could turn nigga into being good if it's totally been, you know, bad ever since we stepped off the boat.
Actually, I was wondering, what do you say to people who say that the lyrics on this particular album are, you know, perhaps not as challenging as on your previous albums?
You have a lot of product out there, and people are judging each and every product differently than ever. You know, when I did that back, I sounded totally different. There wasn't too many people that came with what I came with, and it stood out. But the rest of the pack it wasn't that much in number, you know. Now you got all kinds of different flavors and voices and styles and flows coming across. So it might have, you know, of course it's recognized as being me, but that initial impact is not going to be anything new because I am me, and I'm recognized, and I've been around for a while.
How does it make you feel that the cover of this album, like that the artwork, was banned?
It's typical. With Public Enemy, we know what to expect. Some shit's gonna come down the pike that we're gonna say, well, we knew some shit was gonna come. I thought it was the music. They said no, this is the artwork. I was like, this is incredible.
Just out of curiosity, what does the album cover artwork, you know, mean or represent to you?
I was talking about the late great black race. You know, it has the gun in the head representing violence, self-inflicted violence. The bullets are like the teeth. The chronic is on the table. The law book is on the table. These are things that affect us that are parts of genocide. These are genocidal effects. The politicians behind and the KKK, which are two of the same people, they're behind laughing at us as we're destroying ourselves.
And how do you think someone should, you know, feel after seeing this album cover?
Ooh, how striking. Can I get a T-shirt? No. No, they should feel that, they should feel exactly what's there. I mean, I think a person could look into it. You know, if a person's 13 or 12 and looking into it, they might not pick it up right away, but hey, that's what life is for. Study what could be considered an artifact.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chuck, for being with us on Words and Music. And this is Public Enemy once again on 93.3 CFMU.